May 17th here in Southern Ontario, Canada. Story time, should you need a diversion. Ken Kesey in 1962 published, well, it was published in 1962, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You may recall the movie with Jack Nicholson in the lead role and the sadistic nurse Ratchet and the fate that befell Jack's character in the movie. Anyways, back to the author, Ken Kesey. He made a fortune, right? And south of San Francisco, in the mountains, the hills there, La Honda, California. He had a property, and the courtesy bowl was always full of, you may remember a fellow named Owlsley, chemist from UCLA, maybe? Anyways, the famous Owlsley acid, LSD. Now, where the story gets in part interesting is acid LSD wasn't illegal. It hadn't yet been, what is it in the States, a Schedule III narcotic or something? I don't know. It was legal anyways. So at Kesey's place in La Honda, there's quite a group of hangers out that called themselves the Merry Pranksters, and they were always just fried. And the cops just, the whole scene was driving them crazy, right? They'd park on the road across the road from La Honda, and the Merry Pranksters are running around naked, fried out of their head, mooning the cops, and wow. So anyways, there were 2 electric Kool-Aid acid tests. They rented some big hall in San Francisco somewhere, and they had Kool-Aid like by the garbage pail, you know, and they'd be like, the Merry Pranksters would be there like saying, you want this one, you want the electric one there folks. So the cops are there in mass, and they're just aggravated half to death because everybody's running around fried and they can't do anything about it. So then that party was such a success that they had a second test, electric Kool-Aid acid test. And this one was really interesting because I don't know if it was Owlsley or some other chemist, but they painted everything. The handrails, the door handles, everything with some substance that when you touched it, you absorbed through your skin, and they mixed it with the LSD. So the cops got fried. Well, that really upset the cops, right? Should be noted the Grateful Dead was right on the scene from the day one, although they weren't yet called the Grateful Dead. I'm not quite sure when they changed their name to the Grateful Dead. But anyways, the whole scene, right? So the cops were just incensed about this whole thing. And the story kind of ends, they busted Kesey with a pound of pot. I forget the details. The Hells Angels were involved in the pot bust thing, and the Merry Pranksters faked Kesey's death, left his car at the top of a cliff. I forget, elaborate suicide note. He fled to Mexico for, I don't know, 6 or 8 months or something, maybe a year, I forget. But then he came back and made a deal where, you know, he'd just kind of quietly fade away, and because the pot bust was a big deal at the time. So anyways, the Merry Pranksters then rented a bus or bought a bus or whatever, and they went traveling across the country to New York. They were going to protest something. I don't know what quite it was all about. You see them around occasionally still, maybe in a restaurant or a corner store. They have those, you know, vessels with the clear see-through, and there's an orange circulating juice and a purple circulating juice. They used to be everywhere all the time. You might see one around on occasion or recall them. Well, anyways, that stuff, whatever the orange and purple juices were of course electrified. So they shot like 22 miles of the Merry Pranksters, that is, of, I don't know if it was 8 or 16 mil footage as they fried their way across the country to New York. They were going to make some grand movie, but, well, it was just a mess, and it never became anything, I don't think. And without Ken Kesey's generously filled courtesy bowl, because he'd made this deal to just fade into obscurity, the merry pranksters ran out of steam, I guess you could say. And that pretty well was the end of the story. Yeah, I think that covers everything. Oh, the electric Kool-Aid acid test, the book, which I haven't read in years, and I'm probably forgetting a lot of it. I think it was Thomas Wolfe, that wrote that. Should you decide to, see if the library's got the book, don't quote me on Thomas Wolfe, but the title will get you there anyways. The electric Kool-Aid acid test, no mistaking that one. So anyways, I hope you found that a pleasant diversion. We all need a diversion here in Canada. Anyways, take care, folks.